What's going on, guys? You know something is bad? Having a wreck. You know what's worse? Having a wreck after having a few, and maybe possibly not getting a DUI, but still not looking good towards your insurance company because it shows you might be liable to drink more and have a worse wreck later. You know what's even worse is having a wreck, running around in pajama bottoms, just literally your pajamas, and hiding your liquor that was in the vehicle that may have been open, which also makes you like even more liable, and trying to hide it in literally the worst spot possible. It's like Easter Sunday when you're trying to hide your eggs, but it's like last second. Or for the children that don't watch any of my videos, it's when you try to go hide the elf on a shelf last second, like hazardly probably drunk in the morning before the kids wake up.
Yeah, drinking. Where you putting that at, huh? What you doing? Hell no, I'm finna. Yeah, just hit my shit.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this out the way. I'm pretty sure she would be the worst prop hunt teammate in the world. Because, yeah, that spot's too obvious. Come on, you are a green bottle of liquor in front of a vehicle. You're not thinking they're going to see that? That is definitely, like, easy to get. You just cost our team the win. Literally, you could have just jumped up and connected anywhere. Could have done what you wanted. But no, you decided to hide in front of a vehicle. That's just so stupid. Okay, terrible joke aside. This has got to be one of the dumbest decisions you could have made today. I mean, a DUI is already bad enough. Open container is bad enough. Having a wreck while doing this. I mean, your insurance company is going to hate you. But I'm sure, and I might be wrong, this looks like tampering with evidence. Which I'm sure is probably, I don't know, it's probably way worse than just getting a DUI charge with an open container. I know they're probably trying to prevent themselves from ruining their life, but this is on camera. I'm sure the guy that was recording this definitely told the police when they showed up. I know kind of why they got rid of it, because I'm going to go ahead and let you in on a little bit of a secret that's not a secret. When you have a wreck, you know, sometimes they ask, hey, anybody drinking? And guess what? You can just say no. And yes, you know, there's been a few times I've went to a bar, not a bar directly, let's just say more of a restaurant with a bar, and I'll have 1 or 2 beers while I eat my food and I leave. And guess what? Not even like buzzed as you would actually go to. It wasn't like where I'm at, 0.08. I think that's the US, but 0.08 is what you can blow and still be able to consider be driving. I think 0.08 is actually the limit. Like that's where you start getting put in handcuffs. The only reason why I know that is because I blew a 0.07 before, so I knew that limit was coming up pretty quick. But I'm going to go ahead and say this. So what I do know is if you have all this going on, your insurance company, for one, is going to hate you. It's going to be pretty impossible to deal with. But when you get a DUI is going to be a lot cheaper than dealing with tampering with evidence, where you're trying to get rid of something. And not to mention you're doing it on camera. The guy told him, come on, it's pretty much over with. Oh, and real quick, also, just to let people know, that's called a buzzball. It's 15% alcohol. While I know that doesn't sound like a lot for people that drink like liquor, like I do. But for the people that drink beers and like White Claw, that's like 3 times the amount of alcohol percentage. And I don't know about you, but a 12-pack, I'm pretty good. Like I'm you know, I'm either getting tired or I'm probably pretty toasted. And yeah, it's just pretty much downhill from there. I can only imagine what a buzzball would do between the 2 people, what it looks like in the video. And also real quick, just kind of forgot, the tampering evidence, depending on the state, depending on what it is, could be a felony. So that's a little bit worse than a DUI, depending on, I guess, how many DUIs they may have had. They looked rather on the young side, so I don't think they would get charged that heavy. Now, I don't know myself. I've never been arrested for a DUI. Like I said, the closest I ever did was a breathalyzer, which happened at a roadblock. A DUI can be hefty, okay? It goes from $5,000 to like $10,000, almost $15,000, depending on your state. And getting your license back could be an act of Congress. I know people that haven't had their license back for quite a little while, almost 2 years after everything was supposed to be legal. And another thing is, when you don't have a license, it makes life a lot harder. I will say this, I think some of the system is to, you know, make a person with a misdemeanor a felon. I think there's probably some more stipulations that could be put behind having your license, but not stipulations to make it harder, but to make it easier. Because if you have a DUI, what's going to happen without a license? You can't go to can't go to work. A lot of those people that usually have DUIs are not. They don't have other rides readily available. But that's not what my video is about. Let me go ahead and stop myself there. But basically, these two people have not only taken a wreck, insurance is going to hate them, like I said, destroyed their vehicle, and nonchalantly pretty much tampered with evidence. Got caught on camera, probably is getting reported for that. Definitely getting arrested, and now going to go ahead and have DUI with a wreck, and open container while also tampering with evidence. So charges, DUI. Now, none of this I can confirm. I'm going to go ahead and say that. But charges, DUI, and all that is a pretty bad thing to get at a young age. Now, I also would like to say I'm smiling a little bit regardless because I keep thinking about the people driving by, sitting there screaming, "You can't park there!" I'm sorry, that's hilarious to me. Call me cold-hearted, call me a terrible person, but I think it's terrible, but I do find it funny when people are in a bad situation and you see somebody drive by going, "Hey, you can't park there." It's such a stupid joke that I can't stop laughing at. It is almost like peak comedy to me, and it's not. It's childish. I can't condone it, but I'm still going to laugh at it every time I see it. And at least in this situation, it's perfect because they're clearly in the wrong and had a wreck and probably, messed somebody else up. And so that little bit of, that little joke just puts a smile on my face, and I'm sure putting a bit of a dent in their pride for a second. I also like to let it be known that the guy tries to hide his face, it looks like, with his hood because he knows he's on camera. And I don't know if they realize this, but a cop, if they pretty much want to, they can still try to get a breathalyzer. So a quick little bit of an understanding. The reason why I just kind of vaguely know some of this is because, not because of the wreck. I had a wreck, and that's one part of this. So I had a wreck, and what happened is they over the phone, while I was with 911, all that, getting the dispatch and telling them what was going on, they said, "All right, anybody hurt?" The two parties involved, me and the other person, was not hurt. So I said, no, everybody's fine. Has anybody been drinking? I said, "Ma'am, have you been drinking?" She said, "No." I was like, "Okay, well, I haven't been drinking either." So they showed up, no breathalyzer, no nothing. The officer asked me, "Hey, where are you coming from?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I just got off work. Now, I'll be drinking here about 5 minutes because this has got my nerves rattling." So, yeah, long story short, cop didn't do anything. Like, he filed it, and I got, the report or whatever and got it to my insurance or however that works. This stuff has been well over 10 years ago. And, everything's said and done. Didn't hear from it about it. Never had to, worry about the breathalyzer or being tested on site or anything. But the other time that I did get breathalyzed, this is actually a really stupid story, and this is on myself. We went to a restaurant. I had some beers. And when I left, went down a major highway. It's not a lot of back roads, anything like that. I was just going down the highway, felt fine. Didn't think anything was a big issue. And when I got through the roadblock, I pull up, and the guy's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he saw my food in the back end, which is pretty notorious for having beer. I said, "Well, did you have anything to drink tonight?" I said, "Well, yes, sir. I had a beer or two." He's like, "Okay." And he talked about the food. He said, "Look, I just need to check your ID. You seem pretty coherent." I was like, "Cool." I am not used to giving my ID. Just not used to it. Still not today. But I'm more functionally, well sound when it comes to being asked for my ID now, so I don't end up like this again. I handed the cop my debit card. That is suspicious. Cop did not take it, obviously. He just looked at me and said, "Sir, I need you to breathe into something." I was like, "Oh, great." And my job at the time, I had to have a license. I was a driver, so I had to have one. He comes up, and he looks at me. He's like, "All right, I'm going to need you to breathe into this, and I'm going to let you know when to stop." It's like, cool. My buddy, who was riding with me, he had a phone at the ready, to call for somebody to pick him up. And I'm breathing into it. He's doing his, the usual go, 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 go. You hear beep. He's like, "All right, stop." He looks at it. He doesn't show me. He just goes, "Do you know what the legal limit is?" "No, sir, I don't." And I'm nervously laughing. I was like, and I'm scared I'm about to find out. He said, "It's a .08. I want you to take a guess what you blew." I said, "Sir, I don't even know." And yeah, I'm pretty terrified. He said, "You blew a .07. Now, whether he was telling the truth, I don't know. But I do know that he said .07, and my heart just sunk to my stomach. because I felt fine and I was still pretty well coherent, but obviously breathalyzer is not going to be 100%. But it was close enough for me to know I was really close to like getting a DUI and being in a lot of trouble. And he just asked where I was going. I explained everything, and he's like, "Look, I think you're coherent. This may be off by a little bit, but you need to head straight home." I said, "Well, that's exactly what I'm doing." So yeah, I wasn't but a mile away, pretty much, or a mile or two. I can't really remember. But yeah, that was like the closest. It's the only reason why I even know it's a .08. And I know some of my buddies have blown like a .2, 0.25, even a .3. Like, it gets pretty bad. I know like a .4 you're supposed to be able to be like labeled as legally dead pretty much. But I know people that's blown over that. Now, you also have to take into consideration the concentration of the alcohol they're drinking, like the percentage, and how recent they drank it. Because if you go drink Everclear straight from the bottle and drink just enough to get you like drunk for that night, and you instantly go to breathing into one of those things, I'm pretty sure it's going to blow high, or maybe a little bit later. But it's the concentration that comes off your breath. So I'm pretty sure because I was kind of chill and just drinking a little bit, and I just got done from being there, that it was still on my breath. It was probably part of the problem. But I have to say, this is definitely not an answer. Like I said, this is pretty close to felony charges if the state deems it so. So I will say this: if you get into a wreck and if you've pretty much been drinking, just bite the bullet. It's pretty much over with. I don't see a way you're getting out of that without trying to cause more charges or catch a felony. But the best advice you could ever take from anyone: just don't drink and drive. Do your best. Literally, just, if you're gonna have one or two, but don't go over that. Drink responsibly. I hate to quote the damn commercials because it makes me seem like a boomer. But yeah, drink responsibly. I know that's coming from me, but because I drink quite a bit, but I'm drinking at home. I don't go places and get hammered. I sit at home when I drink and play Call of Duty and play with my buddies. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. The math is unbeatable. You cannot get in trouble for drinking and driving. If you're not driving, you're just sitting at home. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good